Well, everybody, we're back here with Golden Gables Roofing. We've got Abraham to my right, far end over there, Gabe. And while we had to have him back for more here, everybody we put on the show right now. We're doing 2.5 hours with them, and I feel like these guys could probably talk for 3 or 4 hours with all their expertise and some stories. We had a nice break there. We were covering a lot that we've talked about, stuff they've been through and how they've helped clients and stuff that we've all dealt with. And holy cow, you guys have been through some stuff, and you've really that allows for the experience, the expertise, things you learned from that we really got into. But I'm going to start off with another one of my favorite questions that I always like to ask, and that is, tell me a time when you guys feel like you really helped a client. Tough situation you're in, a weird situation, whatever it was, something where other people were going, but we kind of have this, and we talked about a cornhole comes to mind as I see the pictures, but it's an interesting setup you had there for this roof, and we'll share this with everybody. So tell me about that.
I'll let Abe.
Well, we have 4 skylights, and they're on the atrium, the lower level, and it's a flatter section, and the main roof is a 10-12, which is a steep pitch. So the shingles are coming off of the main roof, and they're going to break out the skylights. So he'd had guys over, and nobody really had a solution besides new skylights, whatever. So I told him, well, why don't we just let the shingles fall, and we'll build boxes around your skylights with 3/4-inch plywood on the top, tear the roof off, and go on our way. So he was very pleased with the solution we came to. He hired us, and it worked out flawless. It turned out to work out really well.
Well, yeah, that's what we're looking up there on the wall for everybody. We do have some pictures you guys have on your guys' Facebook page, so everybody can see this stuff that we're talking about here, because you guys put it all out there. And so with that, there's those skylights, and literally this was a tough job, but you had to come up with a solution for this, or else you're talking $2,000 a pop for a skylight. You could have had $8,000 worth of damage. So it looks like, we were joking, it looked like you could have been playing cornhole out there, right? But
would have rather been
from the off side of the house there. But something you guys did extra beyond the call to make sure that these guys had their skylights, which were a valuable asset to make this house pretty awesome, and to make it keep that on track. So there's a great example of what you guys do to go out of your way to make sure the client is taken care of. Because somebody else could have come in there pretty easily and just said, "Hey, let's throw this up here." Oops, if we crack something, don't tell them.
Yeah. Or hey, it's going to cost you another $6 or $7 grand. We're going to have to replace these, whatever. So I felt it was a win-win. We ended up earning the job, and it didn't really cost them any extra money. It worked out very well.
Okay. Gabe, is that was an exciting one for you too? Did you deal with?
Oh yeah, very, very much. And that's one of the great things of working with Abe here is that he's got a lot of ideas. He came up with this idea. Hey, you know what? Why don't we just build some boxes around these things and put them together here, and we'll just protect them that way, and then we'll just call it a day. And it's like, yeah, that's a great idea. And he went home that night and he put them together. I mean, Abe's really pretty talented. I mean, he's good at solutions and stuff like that. We're great, 2 minds together. You're always going to come up with more stuff. But yeah, that was a great, fantastic idea by him. He put it together, went home, built the things, brought them out the next day. We installed them. It was fantastic.
Well, some people have problems. I like to think that we have solutions. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, that's what I talk about. The years of experience that you bring to the table and all the creativity you have there to make these things come together, because I don't know if I'd have thought about that, because it's just like, I don't know what to do with those. Let's just take our chances and hope nothing hits it, because that's going to take a lot of extra work and a lot of extra
they were going to get demolished.
But then you pull those off and you use them for cornhole afterwards.
Well, right. Okay. And that's my game, too. I like a little cornhole.
Okay, good. We'll have to have some cornhole matches with each other. But yeah, that's one of my games, too. Well, tell me the process. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that would be interested in working with you. And you do service, to be clear, all of the St. Louis metro area west of the river, right?
Yes, sir.
Illinois, not your territory. You can refer them to somebody over there. But you go all the way out to Union, Wentzville, and just everything over here on the west side of the Mississippi, beautiful Mississippi River, even the west of the Missouri River. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, tell me, I'm ready. Somebody said, I'm ready to hire you guys. What's the process? You got a great looking website. They can go there. Go to your Facebook. We're going to call you guys. Tell me what somebody should do.
Well, it's pretty simple. Usually what they'll do is they'll reach out to us, let us know, hey, you know what, we've decided to go with you. What's the next steps? Email or phone call or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great, fantastic. So then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll send them over a couple links that show the shingle brochures, so that way they can pick out the colors. I said, if you have any questions, let me know about it, and such and so forth. they'll go ahead and pick out a color, say, hey, we want to go with this color. Okay, great. Well, let's set up a time to go ahead and meet in person. We'll go ahead and we'll sign an agreement. We'll look over the property, make sure that we haven't forgot anything. We're going to get all the details we need to do. Then we're going to start going ahead and planning it. We'll let them know, hey, you know what? Here's what's going on with the weather. Unfortunately, the weather controls our schedule. We'll figure it out with that. We usually get 50% down. And then we'll go ahead and we'll book the crew. We'll book when the materials are going to be delivered. We try to get the install done pretty much the day after that the shingles are delivered. Always, that doesn't always work out because the delivery gets delayed or, the weather changes, obviously, Aside from that, that's pretty much it. We try to make it as painless and as easy as possible. And I always let the customers know, hey, if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, just, we're here for you at any point in time. Give us a call and we'll get it figured out. It's not a big deal. We do this for a living, so we'll figure it out because things change.
Sure. Well, that's where I think a lot of times it is very much easier for somebody to work with the smaller businesses like you guys because there's a lot more flexibility here. You got my cell phone number.
That's right.
You can call me after hours. There's not some form, some rigid structure, and if you matter of, well, this didn't work out, so I can't. Nope, sorry, got to start over. Yeah. You guys be flexible and make it work for you.
And they do call at certain times, and it's okay, they feel good that they can do that, and we're going to address their needs, So, yeah.
Another key for working with small business owners, everybody, and the benefit you get from doing that. That's why, again, go back to those reviews you guys have. 273 reviews. I want to show that again for everybody to see. As a matter of fact, I might put that up for everybody to see in a minute. But these guys are really on the ball when it comes to getting things done, and it's a matter of getting a good quality product because this is one of the most expensive asset that anybody owns normally, right?
It is.
Unless you're some wealthy millionaire and you've got multiple, even then it's still multiple houses, right? And so you want to make sure these things are taken care of and set up.
Two most important things on a house: your roof and your foundation.
The roof and the top and the bottom.
Yeah, if you don't have those two secured, you're going to have some major issues, and then you're still going to have to take care of those issues before you take care of anything in the middle. You have to have those two things solid. Yes. If you don't have those two things solid, you're in a bad way.
And I've worked with a lot of flippers, people flipping property, and sometimes they, and all I can advise them is, man, start with your roof. If you don't have a good roof, some of your work's going to be bad, your drywall, your insulation, you need to start at the top, get a good roof, and work down, You don't want to put new siding and new windows in a house, then tear it off because shingles come down, things happen. Why would you want new siding and new windows when we haven't tore your roof off yet? So
very true.
Start at the top.
All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. An easy process. These guys are easy to work with. Go to their website. Lots of great information out there. I'm going to share that with everybody on the TV wall behind me. Everybody can see that. But here is the website that they've got. All the information. Easy to find. The phone number right there on the front of the page. You can see some of their work. And these guys are easy to work with, which is a key to success for any business. But call that number direct at just about any time, and they will answer, help you guys to get what you need taken care of. For a successful rebuilt, reconstructed, or new roof put on your house to make sure that house is in good shape. Well, tell me, what's a challenge that you guys have had to overcome with regard to your business? We like to help share with something a time you may have learned and say, oh, wow, didn't see that coming, but lesson learned, and now we're not going to let that happen again. Or a time where you saw another situation somebody else was in, and then you had to go, wow, we got to fix this for somebody. They got kind of left out on a limb. Can you think of a time specific?
Well, I think that one of the biggest lessons that we've learned is existing problems with people's roofs, existing leaks. People aren't always up front necessarily with what's going on. And we had a situation one time, put a new roof on a house, no problem with it necessarily. We're talking a couple weeks later, this guy calls and tells me he has a leak. I walk in his living room, and it's destroyed. I mean, his whole ceiling is destroyed.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, hey, I was like, and he's like, well, so I was pretty sure we weren't at fault, but I couldn't prove that. So we went ahead and took care of all of his drywall, all of his insulation, repainted, basically redid his whole living room, and that was the end of it. We were fine, So since then, I like to first ask if you have a leak, and second, I like to look around your house, document any leaks that you have, and so if there's a problem, it's not from our roof. Basically in a nutshell, that's what it is. it was quite a bad deal, and we learned from it pretty rapidly. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things where you just do what's right, work things, because a lot of stuff it's going to be questioning the insurance company and how the thing gets repaired and who's going to pay for it. And if these things, you can create a whole lot of problems later. Be upfront with everything and do that, and that's what you guys are helping them to. Let's do a little investigation here.
And we just paid for all of it. You know, right, wrong, or indifferent. I guess that's how you don't get bad reviews too. You know.
Sure.
So, anyways, we just took care of it and moved on. You know, to the next job.
Well, most of your clients are going to be upfront and do what's right to
Yes,
take
they
care
are.
of
Sure,
stuff. And
sure,
so
sure.
That won't be the issue, but that's where you guys came through, regardless, to make sure and make the situation right. Good example there, and something that made the situation better for everybody. So tell me, what's a major objection people have when considering your service? And I guess there's a number of things that they might have questions about, but what is one of the biggest questions you guys have?
Usually the only objection we ever really run into is when it comes down to the down payment. So typically, you know, in our industry, 50% down is very common. That's what you get. That usually covers roughly the majority of the materials. Okay, so I've had people like, well, how about I give you 10% down or getting on? I'm like, well, look, I said, that's not going to work for us. But I said, I tell you what I can do. What I can do for you, if that's a real concern, because either they've had a bad experience or they know somebody who has had a bad experience or has been ripped off. I said, what I'll do for you, as I said, I tell you what, I'll go ahead and load your roof with all the materials, which is going to be at least half or more of the job of what we're going to charge you. And then you can give me the half down check then, because you're already up. You're either even or up right at that point in time. So then we're just going to be hoping that after we install the roof, you're going to do your half and pay us the money that you owe us for, you know, for our labor and then our profit end on that. So, you know, so there's really no risk for them at that point. And that's the maximum I can do. If they don't want to do that, I'm like, well, maybe we shouldn't do business with you. Nothing personal. It's just, you know, I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah, well, that's where a lot of times it's just a matter of be upfront. Here's the cost, and most people are going to come up for that. And you want to help somebody a little bit if they are situations.
We don't run into it too often.
tight.
It's very, very seldom, but every once in a while that's a concern for somebody, and we'll do that for them, and that's worked out perfect.
Yeah.
You know.
And Abe, same for you. You're out there doing the work.
Yep.
What objections people say, oh, I think this should be fixed in addition, or what are some of the hurdles you've had to overcome? Some of the questions people may have along the way, doing this for as long as you have.
Well, I think the down payment is a thing. Most people are pretty good with it. Most people call us because they've read our reviews, so it's not as big of a deal, but we do run into it, you know. And the majority of the time, well, not the majority of the time, but a good percentage of the time, people will call us and say, when are you going to cash my check? When are you going to cash my check? You know, we're getting nervous. We got all this money in our account. So we're certainly not quick to the bank. I mean, obviously our goal is to make a living, but our first priority is not to run to the bank and cash your check, you know. So I would say that that's one of the bigger things, you know. And sometimes, you know, people have seen things or had other experiences with other roofers, and they want to tell me about it and what we're planning to do. And I kind of get the feeling of, well, if they knew so much they're doing it right, well, why didn't you call them? You know, I mean, I kind of can't help but feel that, you know.
Right.
So I just do my best to explain to them what we're going to do, what the process is, and what the end result will be, and hopefully it works out, you know.
Good stuff. Tell me, how often do you end up in a situation where you kind of have to coach them in how to deal with the insurance company? Is that something that comes up? Tell me about that.
Yeah, most people aren't aware exactly how the insurance works, and of course, when you get your insurance scope, it's so convoluted that most people, even though they give you a page there to tell you how to dissect it, I don't know if they don't want to read through it or whatever, but it's just too complicated for them. And really, it's not as complicated as it looks. It looks very complicated. But a big misunderstanding that most people have when it comes to insurance is that, let's just say, for instance, the insurance at the end is saying, "Oh, we're going to pay $15,000 for your roof," okay? And let's say, and the insurance company say, "Hey, go out and get some estimates, whatever." And let's say one of, you know, we're giving an estimate, and we give an estimate for $12,000. And say we're the lowest one, and like, "Oh, hey, we're going to go with you." So they'll call us up, "Hey, we want to go with you and do this, and you know, and get your whatever." Well, okay, that's fine. We can do it for the $12,000. That's fine. What they don't understand is they think they're going to make, let's say they got $1,000 deductible. So it's $15,000 minus their $1,000, and if they get all the depreciation because it's a 2-check process, they're going to get $14,000. Oh, we're going to do it for 12, so we're going to make $2,000. That's not the way it works.
Okay.
Well,
Well, it's not the way it works. So they'll get their first check, okay, which is going to be minus the age of the roof, since it was new. They take that right off the top, minus your deductible, and then there's your first check. Now, on your second check, if you actually get the job done, you can get up to, and that's the key word, up to the full depreciation amount, but that's only if you're charging for the full amount the insurance says it costs to replace it, which includes your deductible amount. If you get anything less than that, they're going to pull that off that second check.
Okay.
Because they're not in the business to pay you any other money than what it costs minus your deductible.
Gabe is definitely the insurance expert here. He's worked in the field. But what I find people misunderstand the most is they get this check, your depreciation is taken out. Your first check is, say, $9,000. You got $6,000 coming on the next one, whatever. Well, they think that the lowest bid that they get, they're going to make more money on the backside. No, it has nothing to do with it. Essentially, you're saving your insurance company money at the very best. So it's just a little bit of it's a lack of knowledge. The cheapest estimate makes no sense. Get what you want because the insurance is offered up to this much money. So if you like the cheapest guy, maybe that's us, maybe it's not. Well, take him. But right. you're not doing your insurance or yourself anybody any favors. Okay. I think that's the most misunderstood thing for me.
Okay, another key reason why you should not necessarily go with the cheapest, because you may save a few bucks, but the insurance company has allocated enough for the repair. Here's what it's going to be, and you're just taking that money and throwing it away because somebody's doing it for less, and they're probably cutting back on some things they're not going to include, or cutting corners, however that may be.
That's exactly right.
And so then don't go.
And the only
make
winner,
sure you're working with an insurance expert.
The only winner in that situation is the insurance.
That's correct. That is correct.
Because that difference in money, they're taking off your second check, your depreciation check. They're going to take that away from you because. Oh, you got it done for 12? Oh, well, your second check was for 6. Oh, well, here's your check for 3. And you're like, well, what? Well, it only cost you 12, not 15, right? That's what they do. And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I always tell them. You're working for the insurance company. You're doing them a favor is really what's happening here. But, if that's what we do, let's do it, And then you get other companies, though, that come out. And they are diehard. I've had many customers. They show up with the contract in their hand. They want you to sign this contract today, and they want to go only off the insurance company numbers, and there's no discussing it, And I've had these customers say, well, they weren't getting the job, obviously. They were out automatically. Yeah, we hear that from a lot of customers. These guys were just so aggressive, and they wanted us to sign today, and they want just to go off the insurance numbers. There's no discussing it. And so it's very interesting. It really is.
Can I make a certain little note?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'd also like to let customers know, because when they get these really aggressive salesmen, they come there and they force them to sign these agreements on the spot. The customer has 3 days by Missouri law to say, you know what, call them back and say, no, I'm not going with you, or I don't want to do this. Just because you sign that paper doesn't mean you're locked in. You have 3 days to let them know, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going with you. I'm not interested in it. And nobody seems to know that.
Yeah, right of rescission in Missouri is 3 days. So you've got, and that does not include weekends, I believe.
No, it does not.
So then if they've come in and they say, hey,
Friday, if it's Friday, that's right.
They've got till Wednesday.
That's correct.
Wednesday, Tuesday.
And it's particularly older people I notice it with that seem to get high pressured into it. They almost tell me you have to go with us. We work with the insurance. If you don't hire us, the insurance isn't going to pay. And older people get taken advantage of, and that's sad.
It's horrible.
Sure.
I believe that.
Well, that's what I'm glad I got into that a little bit with you, because we have not talked about that. We had a couple of roofing guys on the show, and that's one particular topic that just hadn't come up. And how often do they end up leaving money on the table? And like you said, the only person that wins is the insurance company.
That's the roofing guy wins. Yeah,
the roofing guy's not getting the money.
That's right.
The owner's not getting it built into their house for the repair they're doing. It's just the insurance company cuts out the money, and they'll take the money and then say thank you very much. Yep. Been through a few claims. I had to help my mom on some stuff. We had pipes blow down at a remote place we had by Columbia, Missouri, and oh boy, there is document. How do you sort through all this stuff? Well, that's why I have an expert friend of ours who does construction, and he said, here's the things you better make sure of, and let me walk you through this, and they helped us get through all that. But if you don't have an expert,
that's right,
you could really be leaving yourself out there.
You really can.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, tell me what is it? Obviously, there's a lot you enjoy about what you're doing here. What gives you the most satisfaction? Ultimately, when you wake up every day and you're saying, we made somebody else's life better, their family has a safe place to live, and tell me what really helps you get out of bed when you wake up?
Well, for me personally, I just know we're always doing the right thing. So I know when they're working with us, we're being straight up and honest with you. And we just know a lot of companies are not doing that. We know we're going to leave you with a good product, and we know if there's any issues, we're going to take care of it. So I sleep really good at night. I'm the type of person that I just don't sleep good at night if I don't feel right about anything, and I just don't feel right about anything that's shady or whatever. It just doesn't feel right. I want that customer to know, like, look, I got your back. We're going to do everything the right way. Here it is. Everything's transparent. It's upfront. That's the most important thing to me. And that really kind of drives me, because I've worked for 2 big roofing companies before, and I'm not going to go into anything, but I'm just going to say there's so much shady stuff going on, typically at big companies, that it was just kind of really disheartening. And I thought, you know what? When I go into business for myself, I'm not going to do all these things. I'm going to be able to do this, and I don't have to do these things. I don't care if you got this beast to feed or whatever. I'm just going to do things right, and be able to sleep at night. Where I have to work for these companies, and I already know these things are going on, and I can't even say anything to the customer. I'm going to get fired. But I'm like, there's all these shady things going on. I'm just like, this is horrible. So, like I said, I'm not going to say any names or whatever about companies or anything, but I've worked for 2 big companies, and I spent a lot of time there, and I've just seen a lot of shady stuff.
Well, and that's part of what the smaller business owners are good at helping people understand and deal with. But how do they even know what to ask, or who to talk to, or what to look for, unless they have an expert like yourself? And that's where I talk about it. Life is so much easier. That's where we throw in the cowboy hat, guys. Just do it right the first time. If you're trying to save time, you're trying to save money, then do it right the first time. Be upfront, be thorough, give them all the options. I deal with that with internet marketing all the time, and people will say, well, these guys are doing this for whatever. I said, well, how's that working out? Right. Did they do this? Did they track that? Are these things they're doing? Are they giving you this SEO where they're going to get you ranked for a bunch of keywords that don't actually bring any business? Do they track it? And they say, I got ranked for all these keywords. How many of them actually led to a lead? These are the kinds of things that businesses, they don't know how to ask those questions. The consumer doesn't. And so you guys get to help them, because they're talking about spending $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000
major expense
on a roof, right?
Yeah.
Major expense.
And something that I've always kind of got out of owning a business is, and it's I'm sure it's kind of the same for you, is, well, helping other people. And also, the more jobs that we have, the more work we do. Our crews there's more work for them, there's more money for them, more able to them. It makes me feel good. Look at what we're doing for the people under us, the people that are working for us, being able to provide for them also. It's kind of the thing I get,
That's good, yeah, because now it's a system here. We all have to partake, and everybody's got to make a living, and you're helping everybody make a fair shake. And then, like Gabe, like you said, you get to sleep at night.
You do.
Yeah. If you made a few extra bucks, taking advantage of somebody that's going to come back on you later, and you're going to tough time.
That's important to me. Some people it doesn't seem to bother. I guess they don't have a conscience, but that's not me.
Well, the way I see it is, it's real simple. If you do a good job, you're lucky if somebody tells one person. You do a bad job, they're going to tell everybody they know. So just keep that in mind. You know what I mean? That's pretty simple.
That's how it works.
It really is.
A good job, they'll mention it to a person or two. If you do a bad job, they tell everybody.
Yep, you know it, man.
You've seen that happen. Some of the other businesses that are out there, and they do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Well, that's great stuff. Tell me a little bit. You guys do some cool work, and I want to show some more pictures of the work you've done here. But tell me how you guys contribute to the community. You got some great charities you work with, some rides you do to help raise some money. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So one of our main ones, it's the Turtle Run. It's a motorcycle ride. We raise money for the community. My buddy Danny Turtle Johnson passed in July of 2018, and he was a resident of Pacific all his life. Great dude. Do anything for anybody. Give the shirt off his back. Your lawnmower's broke, he come mow your grass. You have a benefit, he come and barbecue for you. Just a great guy. So originally we just wanted to have a ride to remember him and never forget him. Well, we thought, well, let's turn this into something. So we started raising money, silent auction. We put together a ride. So the first 2 years, we raised money for the historic Baptist Church in Pacific, Missouri. It's from the 1800s. So it got into the flood. So basically, we've raised it up. We did this in 19 was the first year. The COVID, we didn't have a ride for 20. And then 21 was for the church. So we're doing great things. It's still not quite done yet, but we've came a long ways. It's raised up. We have a big, long wheelchair ramp for people who can't get around. And so that's been great. And then in 2022, we raised money for the Tri-County Community Center, or the Senior Center, which is in Pacific. which felt really good, helping the seniors, you know. And some people don't; they're fixed, you know. There's some people just in a bad way and they can't do much. So that was really rewarding. And then this year for 2023, we're raising money for the Jeff White Memorial Skate Park. Jeff White was a soldier. He paid the ultimate sacrifice in Afghanistan in 2012. He was an avid skater, and so we did this in 23. We raised over $18,000 this year, and we're going to do the same in 24 and try to get this skate park underway for kids to have something to do. There's kids are just, you know, it used to be kids that play basketball, ride their bikes. It's just not the same anymore. So we're trying to give kids an outlet in Pacific to have a place and go skate while honoring Jeffrey White's ultimate sacrifice. So we have another one that is called the Fred Ride, and it is for Camp Hope. And my friends Michelle and Brian Breeden run this. We contribute to it. We ride it every year. And they've been doing this for 15 years. And Camp Hope is in Farmington, Missouri, and it is for combat veterans to have just kind of a place to get away, to hunt, to fish, and to spend time with like-minded people. So those are two of our big charities that we're involved in heavily. And so that's the way we try to give back.
Well, I'm a big supporter of the people in our military that put the ultimate sacrifice and for our freedom, so that we can run around and enjoy this little time on this little planet.
Yep.
So lots of great stuff there. Gabe, you support these guys. This is some stuff you really enjoy doing to help the community.
Absolutely. You kidding me? Oh my gosh. I mean, holy cow. I'm such an American, and I just so love this country, and I'm so blessed to live in it, and just to have the opportunities that we have. They can be taken for granted, but you know, the older you get, the more you realize how fortunate you are to live in this country and have the opportunities you have. And you know, and I just hope the younger generation, as they get older, can really start to realize how this country was founded, what makes it so special, and you know, what they can do too with these opportunities that almost hardly anywhere in the world can you have these kind of opportunities in your life.
Yes, it is an incredible country that we are also fortunate to have grown up in, and all from that same genre.
Amen.
We're all
Yeah.
2 or 3 years away from each other, graduated from high school together, and what you get to do on this little planet, in this little place on the planet, unique, and a lot of people understand that from a long-term perspective. So, out there, I want to show up on the website on the TV wall here for everybody. Take a look at a little bit of these guys' work. These guys do incredible stuff. They're really here to help. Look at some big roofs, some big houses. Thumbtack, a Golden Gables roofing company, top pro, doing some great stuff in our community and really making a difference on our little planet.
Yeah,
so,
I'd like to mention real quick that, you know, it's not listed on there because I'm not always on the website and posting pictures. I'm actually kind of horrible about that. And that's kind of falls in part of my job description. But we've been a top pro on Thumbtack from 14 all the way through 21. They've changed some of the parameters now, and it's not what it used to be, but 7 or 8 years straight as a top pro, even though I haven't taken the picture and put it up there.